Your name is bound.
What if the most famous fairy tale about guessing a name isn't really about names at all? What if Rumpelstiltskin isn't just a children's story, but a preserved fragment of humanity's oldest religious knowledge, a window into ancient rituals of divine metalworkers, child sacrifice, and the sacred transformation of earth into gold? We think we know this story. A miller lies about his daughter's abilities. A king demands the impossible task of spinning straw into gold, and a strange little man appears to help, demanding her firstborn child as payment. She saves herself only by discovering his true name.
Rumpelstiltskin.
But researchers now believe this tale preserves memories from over 4,000 years ago. From the Bronze Age, when smiths were considered gods among mortals, when children were sacrificed to ensure good harvests, and when knowing someone's true name meant wielding absolute power over their soul. The Brothers Grimm published their sanitized version in 1812, but according to researchers at Durham University and Nova University Lisbon, the story traces back around 4,000 years. The earliest documented recording is from the 16th century, describing a game called Rumpelstiltskin oder der Poppart, referring to a type of goblin known for rattling posts. But this wasn't merely a mischievous spirit. It was a fragment of something far more profound. The central mystery lies in the impossible task, spinning straw into gold. Straw lacks the long fibers necessary to form thread, so the task is fundamentally impossible. Yet in ancient alchemy and metallurgy, this transformation carries profound meaning. In alchemy, gold represents the ultimate transformation, purity and spiritual perfection. The process of turning base metals into gold symbolizes the purification of the soul, liberating it from earthly confines to achieve enlightenment. Spinning itself held sacred significance. The act was associated with the three fates who spun, measured, and cut the threads of human life. In the Rumpelstiltskin tale, the supernatural helper doesn't just create gold, he weaves destiny itself. The transformation mirrors the alchemical great work, transmuting base materials through fire, knowledge, and divine intervention. It's the same sacred process by which ancient smiths transformed raw earth into precious objects. The most disturbing element, the demand for a child as payment, echoes a practice tragically common in the ancient world: child sacrifice. Archaeological evidence shows child sacrifice across numerous cultures. Carthaginians who sacrificed children at places called Tophets, Bronze Age Mesopotamians who buried children in building foundations, ancient Chinese who practiced foundation sacrifices using children and infants. Research confirms Carthaginian parents ritually sacrificed young children as offerings to gods. Dedications from parents are inscribed above cremated remains, ending with "Heard my voice and blessed me." Bronze Age evidence shows child sacrifice was used to control populations during political upheaval, instability, and crisis, particularly for fertility rituals and ensuring good harvests. Exactly the kind of agricultural magic that turning straw into gold represents. The demand for the firstborn child isn't random cruelty. It's a memory of ancient practices where children were offered to ensure divine favor, particularly to deities associated with metalworking and fire. The climax of Rumpelstiltskin revolves around the discovery of the creature's true name, and this element connects the tale to one of humanity's oldest magical beliefs, that knowing someone's true name grants absolute power over them. This effect is used in many tales, and the belief that names have power is found across cultures. In Egyptian mythology, the goddess Isis gained complete power over Ra by learning his true name. The ancient Jews considered God's true name so potent that its invocation conferred upon the speaker tremendous power over his creations. The concept of a person's true name holds significance in various mythologies and folklores. Usually, it's believed that knowing and uttering someone's true name grants power over that individual, as it represents their essence and identity on a deeper, magical level. The value and power of using personal names is well established and is often referred to as the Rumpelstiltskin principle. It derives from a very ancient belief that to give or know the true name of a being is to have power over it. In the context of the Rumpelstiltskin story, the name-guessing isn't a clever riddle. It's a fundamental battle for spiritual control. The miller's daughter must learn the true essence of her supernatural antagonist to free herself from his power. All these elements, the impossible transformation of base materials into gold, the demand for child sacrifice, and the power of true names, point toward Rumpelstiltskin's true identity. He is not simply a malevolent goblin, but a cultural memory of the divine blacksmiths and metalworkers of the Bronze Age. The figure of the disabled blacksmith who creates legendary weapons appears in myths worldwide. Ancient metalworkers were seen as having almost godlike powers. It was considered magical to control fire and transform raw ore from the earth into beautiful, precious metal objects through heat, strength, skill, and secret knowledge. Many Bronze Age smiths would have suffered from chronic arsenic poisoning as a result of their livelihood, since Bronze Age smiths added arsenic to copper to produce harder bronze. Consequently, the mythic image of the disabled smith is widespread. As Hephaestus was an Iron Age smith, not a Bronze Age smith, the connection is one from ancient folk memory. Across cultures, divine blacksmiths shared common characteristics. They were often physically disabled or deformed. They possessed secret knowledge of transformation. They were associated with fire and underground forges, and they demanded tribute for their services. Smithing gods appear across cultures: Hephaestus in Greek mythology, Vulcan in Roman, Wayland the Smith in Germanic traditions, Goibniu in Celtic mythology, and many others. Rumpelstiltskin's ability to spin straw into gold mirrors the ancient belief that smiths could transform base materials into precious objects through divine knowledge. His demand for a child echoes the sacrificial practices associated with these deities. His true name represents the secret knowledge that only trained priests and metalworkers knew.
Rumpelstiltskin.
The story preserves the memory of a time when metalworkers were not merely craftsmen, but intermediaries between the human and divine realms. When the forge was a sacred space where earth became gold, where children were offered to ensure divine favor, and where knowing the true names of gods meant wielding their power. What the Brothers Grimm packaged as a children's fairy tale was actually a corrupted fragment of Bronze Age religious knowledge. The little man spinning straw into gold wasn't a goblin. He was a cultural memory of the divine smiths who first taught humanity to transform raw materials through fire and sacred knowledge. The miller's daughter represents the agricultural societies that depended on these metalworkers for tools and weapons. Her father's boastful lie reflects the dangerous negotiations between communities and the powerful smith priests. The king's greed symbolizes the rulers who demanded ever greater tributes from these divine craftsmen. And the child? The child represents the ultimate price of divine knowledge, the sacrifice demanded by gods who controlled the secrets of transformation itself. In domesticating this ancient story, we've lost its most essential truth, that the power to transform base materials into precious ones was once considered the most sacred of mysteries, requiring the ultimate sacrifice and protected by the most powerful magic of all, the true names of gods.